Have another beer, buddy.
Chatty chat chat chat. I think that they probably said that being shorter is advantageous.
Well, they need to teach me then. There you go. So we had to poke a little fun at him. Call you Ginger Swag.
Yeah. If you weren't bowlers, what would you have liked to have done instead? Anything else. Literally anything else.
That's a great answer.
The horse is so dead that it's on some kid's school project on a landfill already.
And there you have
that one before.
No. We'll talk about that one.
Terrible idea.
What's up?
Que pasa, Mufasa?
Oh, can't hear you.
Well, I can hear you. I think everybody can hear us, I'm pretty sure. Not that you can hear what I just said.
Can't hear you for some reason. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Give me just a second here. Let me figure out what is going on.
I wanted. Oh. Discord. I signed in. Open Discord.
Now I can hear you, but it's cutting out. So. Let's see how long that lasts. I might have to keep messing with it.
Okay.
But we're good right now. I can hear you. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Breakdown Pair, number 111. We are going to do one of our favorite things to do, and that is try and predict the draft the best that we can. It's always fun. I know this is more of a local stream for us, but hopefully, as you've seen in the description that I posted on our group, that this not familiar. If you're not familiar with this format, maybe it's something you can use in your neck of the woods. So, give us just a second. Let people filter in here. People keep saying "dang it, Haas." Did I do something wrong? And then Nico even said, "Dang it, Haas." Yeah, it was weird. I couldn't hear you on my end, but you guys could hear me. So,
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Good. 31 watching so far. Okay. Let me pull up this list here on my end.
Yeah, I'm getting it in uploadable form here myself.
Cool. Yeah, I've got it on a PDF here.
I started making my way down here at 4:30 and was still late getting down here. So.
Oh, yeah. Hey, come on! Don't always blame things on me, guys. All right. This is a two-man team here, but I'll take the blame. That's all right.
If you watched the women's show last night, why did Verity use what? I don't know which picture you're referencing.
I actually did not watch the women's show last night. I had to bowl, and I bowled miserably. But
I knew what was happening, and I forgot about it. But then I went to turn on Hulu because Angel was almost home, and I went to turn it on because we normally watch stuff with supper, and it actually was like, oh yeah, the show, sweet design overlay.
We're getting it loaded up here so we can pop the deal on the screen for you.
All right, so yeah, this is something that if you're not from the area and don't bowl this league, you're not going to know most of who we're talking about unless you are friends or family of people that have. There's a lot of Ottawa bowlers in the draft. There's probably 10 collegiate bowlers from all over the place. So unless you are parents, friends, whatever else, happening to be tuning in for this for whatever reason. But like Jonathan said, it's one of those things where we actually had somebody that was watching our draft show, either last year or the year before, and thought it was a cool idea, and they ended up getting it started in their area, and they ended up with like 20-some teams. So,
that's a good number.
even then, it's really interesting to kind of think about just if you're into fantasy football or something, just like draft strategies, but it's like a fantasy draft, but for bowling. And while you may not know the people, it's something like you said, you might get ideas to start something like this in your area, or the people that are local here. I think we've had a bigger audience of locals here who either we have a lot of new names on the list, and sometimes you get to the draft and you're like, I don't know, like 15 names on this list. So we're going to help I've done some bowl.com and Facebook stalking over the last couple of days to get prepared for this, and have talked to a few people, and so I've got some insights. There's some new names that are drafting for the first time this year. A lot of new names on the draft list. There are some people that aren't bowling this year. There's several names that aren't bowling this year that were here last year. So there's some definite shakeup. So if you're local and you're watching this, we've got some good information for you. It's not just a show. So
if I'm counting right, I think we have 4 new captains. Is that correct?
Hoff, Hathaway. I'd have to pull up the list, but
Carpenter and Burnett, right?
Yeah.
That should be the 4.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Nico. I've got about right there, so I can actually, which is higher than, I can, if I really use my shoulder, I can't quite get it up, Jonathan. It's rough.
I was gonna say it, but you beat me to it.
Yeah, I know. There's no special pill that'll work for this, though.
For all the children watching, we apologize.
Yeah, I am. Mm-hmm. But no, I am officially not on the list this year. I told Jesse, I didn't think I would be, but I told Jesse, just go ahead and take me off the list. And I said I would let him know if I was going to be able to bowl. But it's not, I thought even if I thought I was going to be back within a couple weeks or something, like I could just not bowl the first couple weeks. It's not like that's never happened, but it's not, I'm months out probably. I tried to swing a ball today and I can actually hold it now instead of having to like rock it back on myself to put my hand in the ball, but it's nothing that I'm not going to be any kind of competitive doing it. So,
well, we need to get you back for Tulsa.
Mm-hmm.
That's goal number 1.
That's
Tulsa.
the plan. If I can be back for Tulsa, I'm not bowling KCO. So, all right. So we'll go on ahead and get into this.
Yep.
I'll pop the list up on the screen.
Can you guys see that okay? I'm assuming you can.
It might be a little small for people. I might have to let me do some. Oh no, there's. I actually tried to drill a ball right-handed because I wasn't going to be able to bowl nationals, and that did not happen. And yeah, my right arm is the one that has the problem now. So my right arm's further away from being functional than my left is. But let me open this actually back up.
When I pull it onto my browser, it looks like it's fine. But then again, depending on what everybody's watching on, I could see it being small and hard to read.
Yeah, let me do this.
And while he's working on that, so our original first list of the draft came out, I want to say, was that early last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, early last week, our first list came out. And honestly, since that first list came out, we've added quite a bit of names.
Yeah,
I think we're looking at. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I just started thinking out loud too quick. I think there's 9 people that aren't going to be.
Yeah, I think it's 9. Yes, because when I spoke to Jesse last Saturday, he hadn't sent me the final list yet, but he said he was adding 2 more names just from last Saturday. So that will bring our total to 9 bowlers who will not be picked, which is unfortunate because everybody should be able to experience the league. It is a fun league. It is the most competitive league I personally bowl in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that's kind of a kick in the butt to you knowing you're going to miss out this year. But then again, at the same time, you get to take a break from bowling, which is nice.
Yeah, I get a year off, and that's not that. I've kind of felt like I needed to drop weight or take a year off or something anyway. So
yeah.
this at least made me, I wouldn't have decided to do it on my own, but this kind of made me take a break. So what we're going to do is we're looking at the captain's list first, and we'll kind of explain the format here. So these are the top. We've talked about league size before. We do have enough people to go to 20 teams, but that really screws up the format. The competitive nature of this league is based on, we have two halves, and the way it is now with 18 teams, everybody bowls every other team once each half. And so it's fair that way. If we go to 20 teams, then there's going to be teams that you're bowling twice. There's going to be some teams you're only bowling once. And depending on how those teams are doing, that could skew the results if you end up bowling some of the tougher teams twice and only bowl some of the weaker teams, once throughout the entire year. Now, well, James, he was talking about, I had I had the full list up there to begin with, and it was very small. But now that I'm going to try to segment it a little bit to hopefully make it larger so that everybody can see it. The league actually works best with 16 teams, because then that way you bowl everyone once and a half, and then you have a position round.
Yeah.
But it also works really well. It works just fine with 18, and with 18 we at least draft. There's 8 more people that we don't have to say, sorry, you can't bowl this year.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there are going to be a lot of people that don't get drafted this year, but that's also part of the prestige of the league too. If you get drafted into the league, that's kind of saying something. That's kind of an accomplishment. So what we do here is we obviously have 18 teams worth of people. So they take the top 18 averages from last year. They get to be team captains. And so we used to do a snake draft. I think it's a lot more interesting the way that they do it now. So Jeff White is the 18th captain at 220.2. He will get to draft first, and then it'll follow up the line with the highest average on the board. So Russ is going to draft last. Then what they do is they take your average and they add that to the average of the person that you drafted, and then they reseed the teams based on total team average. So the lowest total team average gets to draft first. So, your captain position only matters for the first round. After that, it depends on your average plus who you drafted. And then they reorder it, and then the lowest team average gets to go first. And then they do that again for the last round too. So,
yep. Yeah, that's what makes the draft unique, is you actually have to go into that as a captain with some strategy, because just because Jeff White's sitting there with the first pick doesn't automatically mean that he's going to take the first guy on the board just because he's the highest average. He may want to go in here and go with his first pick, dip down the draft list so that he can reset himself to have a higher pick in the second round, which is not bad ideas, but there is some strategy in it. Typically, your first captain is usually going to draft a higher average, because that reason is they can draft an anchor, and that allows them to bowl in the 3-hole all year, which is smart because it takes a lot of pressure off yourself, and it gives your team that guy that can strike a lot. So it makes spares. Make your spares too, folks.
Yeah. We always do have people coming into the league that either they're coming back to the league or they're coming into the league for the first time that have higher averages than the captains, than the first several captains. And so it's not just the top 18 people, the top 18 averages in the draft get to be captains. You have to have bowled in the league the previous year. So you don't just get to, oh, hey, I'm new here, I average 230, and so I get to be a captain. That's not the way that it works. It's the highest 18 averages of people that bowled last year and had 3/4 of the league bowled. So there's actually, I think, a couple people that are back in the draft list because they didn't have the 3/4. They didn't have enough games, so they went back onto the list. So that also kind of makes things interesting too. But we do have a couple notable people that are coming into the league the first time or coming back, haven't bowled here in a while. So
yeah, a lot of new names.
But these are the averages that we're looking at. The higher averages, the lowest, normally the 18th team captain is around 220 or 221. Now, normally the top couple names are around 240-ish, but I still maintain that the new pins that they got last summer never really broke in. They were just a lot harder to get down consistently. And so I think league-wide, the averages came down a little bit. I think that there were some people that averaged better this year, but I think as a whole, the league average came down versus last year.
Yeah, I agree. What I noticed the most out of it was like to agree with you on the pins, where I noticed the most for me personally was on those light swishing sevens that I normally would get there at Royal Crest. They just weren't falling last year, and like some of those that I really need to go my way, obviously just didn't go my way. So I had a regress year because I was a captain last year and I'm back on the board. So
yeah, I was a captain last year too, and I had a really bad first half, and it got better the second half, but just not good enough. So I'm going to go ahead and pop the whole list back up here again so that we can, and I'll put some of these. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to see. So we do have, and we're going to go down and we'll talk about each person on the draft list and what their average is, and then we'll do kind of a mock thing. Now, last year was crazy. Everybody went super low last year. I think that there was kind of a sentiment that there was a lot more value in the lower half of the draft list, and there wasn't the higher side. And that's kind of what you're looking for too, is that, you want to get a good bowler, but you want to get them at a value too. So if you see somebody that's on the board for like 210, hey, let's look down here at somebody like Noah Belt at 203. I'm looking pretty hard at that, or somebody that,
like, didn't he battle an injury last year too? Didn't he have a wrist injury or something?
Yeah, he had something going on with his wrist. John Hardman is down there at 208. Rick Jimenez is coming in at 209.
That's some value there.
There's, and then some people, like, it's their first time in the league, and so it normally, if it's their first time bowling in the center, you can just whack 10 pins off their average just automatically.
Yeah, and typically in a draft room too. Like if you're sitting in the draft room and there's something you don't know about somebody, and we'll ask people that are knowledgeable, hey, is that a Royal Crest average? Just to give you an idea if they know the building. Yeah,
they actually do. They'll for everybody that's drafting tomorrow, they will give some people some notes, because there's a lot of names on this list that are unfamiliar, and so they will kind of
Ken.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on Taylor Swift.
Yeah. But there's a lot of names on here that people are not going to be familiar with, and so Larry and Jesse will break it down, or they'll give some people some information to work with. And that, again, like you said, if it's their first time to say, okay, well, this is an Olathe average, or this is an Ottawa average, this is a Fusion average, or this is whatever else. Now, if it's like, well, this person bowls here, they just bowl on a different night. So somebody that's coming in like a Nick David, that is, plus he's gotten quite a bit better, and I expect him to be even improved off of this. But Nick David coming in at 204, that is a Royal Crest average. He bowls a couple nights, but he bowls on Wednesday in the big league on Wednesday, and they have 5-person teams. So
isn't that the men's league there on Wednesday nights, the Ivy men's or something like that?
Mm-hmm. So that is a Royal Crest average, and that makes a difference. So, we'll go ahead and start, and I'll try to get through these quickly. But Zach Cawthron is coming in at 228. He bowls primarily at Olathe, I believe.
No, I think he bowls at Sterling.
Oh, okay.
He's Sterling and Gladstone, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I grew up bowling youth leagues against him, so I know him really well.
Yeah. So I would, and this is one of those ones that if you're Jeff White, you're looking at, okay, I want to get value. I want to get somebody, Jeff's going to need an anchor. No, Jeff is good enough to be his own anchor.
Yeah.
But ideally, I would think for a Jeff White, for a Mike Hathaway, you're gonna want to draft your anchor. You're gonna want to draft somebody so that you can be in the 3 spot. You want to draft those first couple picks. You ideally want to draft somebody that is, going to be in your 4 spot. And that's the other thing about the league too, is the way that they arrange things is it's like Peterson points, where you bowl the person across from you for a point each game, and then the team game is worth 4 points, so you have 8 points total a game, and it works the same for series. So you'll have 1 point per game individually and 1 point for series, so you can get 4 total points yourself. But then it's 4 points per each team game, and then 4 points for team series. So it's a whole lot more important to win the team games than it is the individual stuff. Now we do
Absolutely.
you have team standings, but you also have individual standings, and you can make just as much, if not more money on the individual side as you can on the team side. But the team wins definitely help out from a number of other different angles too.
Yeah, because of the total points and everything like that. So for series and all that good fun jazz.
Yeah,
I think I know. Are we starting our mock, or are we still just going through the list?
I'm going to go through the list and kind of give people some info. If you're a captain that's drafting, I'm going to hopefully give you some information on what's going on here. So Zach Cawthorn, I know Zach. We used to bowl against him in youth stuff.
Yep,
long time ago.
I've won some tournaments and stuff with him on team events. So
now I don't. He's not going to average 228, I don't think, but he'll be above 220. He is pretty simple game, keeps it out of trouble.
Yep.
He's not. It's going to be rough for his type of a game to carry consistently. He may throw 230, but he's not going to carry 230. So I think that he's going to be pretty safely over 220 though. But we're looking at that 228's a big, because there's not as much of a gap between Jeff and Russ. There's only 12 pins to work with there. And so last year when you have, a couple of 240s up there, some 235s, whatever else, and I was drafting it with 221, I had a little bit more breathing room to go a little bit bigger the first round and still be, somebody like James had to draft a whole lot lower to get any kind of a good pick the second round or get any kind of a good position the second round. So we had a little bit more room. Well, yeah, if Jeff fires on Zach right off the rip, he's at 448 going into the next round. And that means that James can get a 215 or a 216 or a 217. I mean, James could get somebody like Chris Quidiche. He could get somebody like you. He could get somebody like Jay Kreitzer. I mean, Jay's another one that I'm looking at too. The 213. I think he was a captain. He was a captain last year. I think he was a captain the last couple. I could be wrong on that, but I know for a fact he was last year. Yeah, he just kind of had a down year, and so that means that James or Russ, Alex Hardman, could fire on somebody like Jay Kreitzer and still have a mid-round pick the next round. Where if Jeff or Hathaway or Matt Carpenter take Zach, you're pretty much guaranteeing that you're going to draft last in the next round. Now, you might be okay with that if you look down this list and you say, okay, well, even if I'm drafting 18th in the second round, I'm still looking at being able to pick up somebody like a Mike Smallwood or a Brent Kuhlman or Nick Cruz, who I think Nick Cruz came in with a higher average last year, but he knows the league now. And so I think his average is going to be up at least 215, if not closer to 220. So he's another one that I'm looking at for a good value here.
I noticed that we do not have a third Hardman in the league this year. No Nathan Hardman.
Yeah, Nathan is not here. John Colfax is not bowling. Tyler Gromlovitz moved to Florida, so he's a big average that is not on the board. Jared
Freed and Jaden Barr.
And Jaden Barr moved to Wichita, so they're not going to be bowling. I'm, of course, not bowling, but we do have a few. Linda Keeler is coming back to the league. She's bowling again. Dan All has moved back to town, so he's going to be
solid
bowling.
Lefty.
Mm-hmm. So somebody like Zach Cothran, it's going to be hard. And that's the other thing too, is if you leave him on the board too long, somebody, if he gets up closer to somebody like a Tennyson or Paul Burnett, Rob Wagner, James Hoff, then it's like, well, okay, I don't even care how much. I don't even care if I'm drafting in the last round, because then all of a sudden you've got two people in the 3 and 4 spot. They're going to go for 225 plus,
right?
Or Zach, I think he's right in kind of that right range, because he's 35-ish, isn't he? He's 35. He's somewhere between 35 and 40.
He's
maybe
about 35, 36.
So he's kind of right in the range where he's seasoned, but he's still young enough to, whack them, really. So
what's my problem then?
Yeah.
'Cause I'm 36.
Yeah. But I think he's kind of right in that right range. He's experienced, but he's not getting old yet. So
then you've got Henninger now joining the list this year.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Mark is the GM of Total Bowling Gear in Overland Park. Solid player. So another solid player to add to the list. He'll have to drive an hour home every night, which won't be fun. But I asked him earlier today how far the drive that is on a weekly basis, and he said it's an hour. And I think Cothran's the same way. I believe Cothran lives up in Gladstone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
which is a little bit of a hike.
By Tobias.
Yeah, which is what, 45 minutes?
It was 45 for Tobias. That's another one. And Tobias would have been a captain, and he's not bowling this year because it was just too long of a drive for him.
And where I sat last year, I was the first draft pick, or the first captain to pick. And it was a no-brainer for me, though, to take a high average right out of the get-go. And I don't regret that pick one bit. Tobias bowled really well.
Yeah. So, Mark Henninger, Mark Lavery Spar.
Mark Lavery Spar. Gosh.
That'll explain Mark to you. He is basically the third Lavery Spar brother.
They're all pretty tight little clique there.
Yeah. Dan All is moving back. He's kind of my style of a player. He's also a ginger.
Yes.
Lefty. He kind of has a little soft hook. I think he's going to be down a little bit, but he'll average 220 pretty safely. Natalie Dutton. I think again the same thing is, she may throw 225, but she's not going to carry 225, and that's not a knock against anybody. It's just the pins were harder to get down. Any two-handers in this league? Yeah, there's a lot of two-handers in the league.
There's a lot of two-handers.
That's funny you say I'm with Anthony right now.
that worked out perfect then.
That's hilarious. What's up, Anthony? And Mark. But yeah, so again, the pins were just tougher to get down last year. So I think Natalie is probably going to be closer to 215, 216, 217, 218. She has bowled at Royal Crest before, but bowling at that house and in that league, the pairs are all over the place. 17 and 18 is kind of notorious. 1 and 2 is notorious. There's a lot of 13 and 14 transition differently. One lane starts off hooking more at the beginning of the night, and by the end of the night, the other lane's hooking more.
17, 18 is just wretched.
Yeah, 3 and 4 is really mismatched. I think 4 for the righty. One of the lanes, I can't remember which one it is, but one of the lanes for the righties hooks a good 3 or 4 boards more than the other one does.
It does. I don't remember which one it is. I like 5 and 6. 5 and 6 is a good pair. 7 and 8's not bad. If you can stay in that 5, a lot of people probably don't like 5 and 6. Maybe I'm just weird, but if you can stay in that lower range, you're in better shape though. 7, because we run 1 through 18. So
yeah, getting a visit from the the new silent film star here, Mr. Brunsnick.
I'm just here for the algo. Thanks, brother.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And Natalie Dutton is she a Wichita State grad?
I think so.
I think she bowled there. I don't know if she was on like the main team, but I'm pretty sure she bowled at Wichita State. I could be wrong. I know she lives in Kansas City now, but
yeah, she did. She did live in Wichita for a while.
Yeah.
I think she was. She did go to Wichita State.
Jason Crouch next on the list at 224.42. Jason was a captain the previous few years, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think he had a little bit of a down year. I can see an improvement out of 224 out of him. Then again,
the only reason he's not a captain, he didn't have enough games. So he's one of the ones that would have been a captain had he gotten enough games in. He just wasn't able to mic up and film league. Pineapple.
Gonna mic up film. Yeah, pineapple. Gosh, this damn pineapple. Oh, Michael Graham. He's another Kansas City guy.
Yeah, you'd have to. I tried to look him up, and if somebody's not on Facebook, there were 8 zillion. There were like 10 pages of Michael Graham's on bowl.com, and so I'm like, okay, I'm just not.
Yeah, he bowls in a lot of stuff that Paul Burnett puts together for tournaments, and if we bowl like Topeka and things like that, not a bad guy. I don't think he's going to average 221 bowling a full season at Royal Crest. I can see him more down around 215. 214, 215. I see him in that range. And I promise people we don't mean knocks on this. But I could just, because he is not familiar with the building, and there is quite a bit of friction there, I could see him having a drop off of 221. And I believe 221 is a Gladstone average. Paul Burnett was in here earlier. He may have a little more insight on that, but I'm pretty sure 221 is a Gladstone average, and we all know Gladstone is a close your eyes and strike building. From what I've seen anyways, there's scores that come out of that place like literally every day.
Yeah, and again, it's not a knock against anybody. It's just if you come into the league, you're going to take a hit. Normally you take 5 pins on the house and you take 5 pins on the league.
Yep.
So if you just come to bowl at Royal Crest, you're probably going to lose 5 pins just because it's not like it's difficult. It's just tough to string strikes. Let me put it that way. It's not hard to hit the pocket at all. It's just tough to string strikes consistently. And then, you have a Shimwrecker team like Tyler put together last year. He just like, I'm just going to get a bunch of rev rates and we're going to destroy the lanes and it's going to be ugly bowling every single week. Well, that's not.
And then he leaves the league.
Yeah, or then you bowl, you bowl that team on 17 and 18, and all of a sudden 620 is a great score that might get you 3 points on the night. So, which
is super frustrating.
And that's just not conducive to averaging 225 or 230. So it just kind of is what it is. Nick Walton,
former WSU player.
Yeah, he also did not have enough games in. He would have qualified to be a captain. He didn't have enough games in, and he was also down. Typically, I think he came in at like 235 last year.
Yeah, he was up there because it was for me taking him or Tobias last year.
That's a very down year for him. Now, the considerations are, do you want somebody that's going to be there every week? Some people don't really mind. But we do have a rule in the league that if you miss more than 2 weeks, so you can take your average for 2 weeks, but after that, you lose 10 pins every single week following that.
Yep.
Unless you find a sub. But you physically have to come back and bowl to reset that. You can't have a sub every other week and then take your average every other week. If you are gone, you're the third week that you are not there or you do not have a sub, then you're taking the hit on your average. So you need to come back and bowl at some point to reset your privilege there, because we would have people like that would, if they were top average or something, and they just don't show up the last month of league, so that they can end up because they pay the captains based on place too. I think the top captain. So Russ, what did you get? Something like 200, 190 or 185, 195 for being a captain. So
just to walk in the door,
yeah, $200. So when Russ walks in there, they also have something too where they split the captain money up so that you can't just, oh, okay, I was a captain. I don't want to be a captain next year. I'm not going to bowl the league. And you just take all the captain money. So now they split it. You get half of it at the end of the year, and then you get the other half when you come back and be a captain again for the following year. So Russ is going to walk in the building, and the first thing that's going to happen, he's going to get handed $100 just right off the rip. So, so we do have some fail-safe or some fail-safes. I don't know what the word is. Some things in place to ensure fair play here.
Yep.
But if I'm a Jeff White and I'm looking at my first pick, I'm not. Nick is really tempting because it's like, okay, well, he owns his own insurance company or something, or investment company or something like that, and so most of the time he's not going to be there 3/4 of the year. You know, it's going to be a fairly routine thing for Nick to just not be there for league. And if that bothers you, then if you want your team there more often than not, now he's gonna pay. That's the other thing is a lot of people, it's like, do they show up every week? Do they pay? It is $30 a week, and so when people get behind, it's not.
It gets steep, yeah.
For Nick to catch back up, but oh yeah, Jeff White taking Jesse Bauer. That's we haven't gotten down to Jesse Bauer yet, but yeah, Nick Vaughn's a really tempting one. That if I was in the first couple picks, I would be looking at him awful hard, because even if I had to find a sub or just he wasn't there, chances are he's going to be back up 225, 230, and that's
yeah.
And plus you're getting him at a good cost. So we're looking at, if Mike Hathaway, Matt Carpenter, you're looking at 440 going into the second round. You're going to be kind of towards the bottom, but you're going to get somebody with a ton of upside.
Yeah, for sure. Matthew Berg's a two-hander from Ottawa, right?
Yep, he just missed out on being a captain, and I think
must not have had enough games. What did he finish at here? Oh yeah, okay, he just missed out. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think he was like the next one out.
Yep.
Basically, of everybody that qualified. And that's one of those things. He came in at 225 last year, and he did bowl. He did bowl really well, but you still get stuck on those against those tough teams, on those tough pairs, and whatever else. And he throws it amazing, and you watch him bowl, and you think he's a 230 average bowler, but the league is tricky. So it's more learning the league and how you have to bowl, learning the league and learning the pairs. Once you get that down, I would expect him to be, now that he knows what's going on, I would expect him to be back up at 225.
Yeah. And transition, to be fair, at Royal Crest can be pretty fun at times, because the building does have friction. So it does hook. Yeah. So when you deal with those teams, like a team that Tyler Gromovitz built a couple of years ago, they're just, be ready to slap your hard hat on and be ready for a fun night, because they're going to probably be tough.
Yeah, so if I'm looking at this list, I think that I would take the under on Zach Cawthron, not by a whole lot, but I would take the under. Mark, I think, is going to be right at value. He had kind of a down year last year, and he went back to motive. So I think he's got himself in good shape now. Just in general, he had some stuff going on from equipment to, I think, some physical issues last year. So he's set.
Yeah.
Going forward. But it's just hard to average 230 in that building. It just is. Now, if somebody, I would say that's value, or I would be more inclined to bet the over on him than I would be to bet the under.
Right.
If I was spending real money and I had to take one or the other, I would take the over. Dan All, I think, is going to be closer to 220, but 220, 223, I would take the under, but again, not by very much at all. I think, Natalie, I would take the under on. No knock against her. It's just, I don't think she doesn't have a whole lot of power. So she's keeps it really simple, hits the pocket a lot. I just don't think that she's going to carry that. She'll make the shot. She's just not going to carry 225. Jason, I think, will probably go back up a little bit. I think 225's about value for him, give or take. I think he still has the potential to get up around 230, but again, it's just one of those. It's one of those house things, and it's just hard to average 220 and 230 in that building. I don't know Michael Graham. You said that he probably wouldn't get to 221, but he might be close.
I put him in the mid two teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nick, I would take the hardo. Nick is probably the best value on the board of the top because he has averaged 230, 235 the last several years. He had a down year. I think he's the biggest value for sure.
And I think he's going to go pretty early in this draft, so we'll talk about that soon.
Yeah. Matthew Berg, I would take the over on. Probably going to be closer to 225. Jesse
Holdcamp, I don't know him.
He's an Ottawa bowler, and there's a lot of these. If you look down the list here, PJ Douglas, Kenji London.
Yep.
There's a lot of names on here that are Ottawa bowlers, and Jesse, if I remember right, he is a two-hander. I looked him up on the old FB, the Facebooks, and I think he did really well. Let me check this again, but I think he did really well at Junior Gold this year. He was like in the top 15 or something like that.
While you're looking at him, Dennis Orr, are you familiar with Dennis Orr?
Yes, I am familiar with Dennis Orr.
Okay. Yeah, he's from Topeka, right? So
yes.
He's got a pretty simple game, doesn't he? Just kind of pretty much play pretty straight.
I never could get him to move off a 5 board.
Oh boy.
Like it was I used to drill stuff for him, and we kept trying to figure out. It's like, well, everything just hooks at my feet. It's like, yes, because you're putting it down on the 5 board at Western.
Yeah.
The bowl will literally hook off the planet off your hand, and so I think he hasn't, as far as I know, he just hasn't ever moved. He just lofts it and throws it hard now. So he averages 220, and he's done that for several years now. So I think it's one of those that he takes the lane out of play. He's figured out how to make what he does work.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, if he's going to play the 5 board at Royal Crest, it's going to hook too. So,
yeah, Jesse Holtcamp, he's easy to find if you look him up on the Facebooks. He did finish top 10 at the under 18 Junior Gold. He is not two-handed. He throws a really sweet one-handed. Well, hang on, is that the right?
If he bowls and you found him on Facebook and if you got the same name, odds are pretty good.
Got some. He is two-handed.
He said Phil in 40's last block was in top 16 all tournament whole camp.
Yeah.
Jason Nelson says on Dennis Orr, consistent, more of a 210.
Yeah.
Okay.
If Jared Freed was two-handed, that's Jesse Holtcamp.
Gotcha. Okay, so he's thinking like 10 pins. That's a pretty big swing off of 220.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Dennis, talking about that, yeah, Dennis is not gonna average 220.
I don't think so. Jesse Bauer is going to average more than 219.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about where I think he's going to go in the draft when we start doing our mock. Obviously, I'll let you add in on that, but Jesse's going to average more than 219.
Yeah, I think he just had kind of a slow year, and he's one of the owners too. He's part owner of the center, and so
always got his hand full.
Just focus on Bo McVay size, Holtcamp. Yeah, I guess we need to move through these names a little faster.
PJ I was just skipping those.
Same
thing.
Baker
Bowler, I was just seeing in here.
Yeah.
Ryan Miller, best one-handed stepper you've ever seen in your life?
Mm-hmm.
Or one-stepper? Not one-handed stepper,
yeah,
good Lord. One-stepper.
Knows about PJ because PJ, I think, bowled at Olathe in the Sport League over the summer.
Yep.
Ryan Miller is, he's the best. He's the best one-stepper you'll ever see. I put him in a video on the channel one time.
That's Danny Bradley's twin brother.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Danny Bradley's twin brother. Can't you see the resemblance?
Kenji London has the coolest name in the draft.
Anytime you're named Kenji, that's pretty cool.
He's a really silky two-hander.
Okay.
he's one of those. He's not quite as the kid from Topeka. For some reason I can't think of his name.
Josh Hammonds.
Yeah, Josh Hammonds. He's a little bit faster moving version of Josh Hammonds, but he's got that really, or he's almost like a Ethan Fiore type of bowler. He's got this silky style that looks like he's one-handed, but he's two-handed.
Andy, Luke is not bowling. I am bowling. My name is on there. Where were we at? Ryan Kenji. Nick Canfield last year shot his first 800.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is I think he had it out for me because we bowled him twice, and he shot 790 on me on 1 and 2. And the second time I bowled him, he shot his first 800 on me. So I think the guy has a grudge against me. So with going off of my luck against him, I say he's going to average 275.
Nick's
Just kidding. He's going to probably average around 220.
He's one of those snake-bitten guys like BJ Moore that just throws it sweet and can't get the pins to cooperate. He throws it too good for the pins to act right.
Yeah.
So, Dennis Melvin, I don't know. I couldn't find anything out about him.
Yeah, anybody in this chat have any idea? Because I'm not familiar with Dennis Melvin.
I think I would just automatically take the under.
Yeah.
So
it's easy to do if you don't recognize the name. Means good chance that they probably have not bowled at Royal Crest, and we're not knocking on anybody. Just once again, as a reminder, it's just going off the history of the house for first timers.
It's just what happens to everybody.
Yeah.
So you can pretty again. If they're a Royal Crest average, you can pretty well knock. If they haven't bowled the league, you can knock 5 pins off. And if they're new to Westridge or if they're new to Royal Crest and the league, you can knock 10 pins off. That's normally
100%.
Kind of normally the adjustment. If they do better than that, great. But that's about where you're gonna.
John Baton, two-handed righty, bowls a lot of PBA regional stuff. Has bowled the league for the last several years. He is. I put him around where he's at right now on the board.
Yeah, he's going to be right there. I would be more inclined to take the over than the under.
Yeah,
but he has been between 215 and 220 for a couple years now. So
he was a teammate of mine in the draft league 2 years ago. He's fun to bowl with. He's a good guy.
Okay. Yep. Eric's got some good intel in the chat there. Kevin Burrell just kind of be nice and simple. Just kind of puts it down the side, stays out of trouble. I think that's about value. You know exactly what you're going to get with Kevin every single year. He's going to be steady. He's going to shoot 650 just about every week. I
tell you what, he's really improved over the last few years.
Yeah. I think this average is actually down a little bit this year because he was a captain, I think, or he was supposed to be a captain.
I don't remember. He was close at least, but yeah, he's really improved over the last few years for sure.
Then we've got
Josh King.
Josh King was Baker Josh King. He's still in the league. I think he had a little bit of a down year, but it's typical for him to average about 220 or 225.
Wasn't he on your team?
Yeah, he was on my team.
Okay.
And it's pretty typical for him to go big the first half and then kind of slow down the second half. But with college stuff, this is the thing that you have to consider with the collegiate bowlers is that once the college season starts, they're going to miss some weeks, especially around the holidays. And then a couple years in a row, I've had a teammate that had a class that they had to take for a couple months in the spring. And so with them traveling and practicing and bowling on tough stuff, and then trying to bowl on a house shot and then bowling on tough stuff, and it gets a little dodgy with the college kids after once you get into December. After that, it kind of gets a little dodgy with them. But Josh, that I would take the over on Josh. I think he just has some rough weeks here and there, but I think he graduated.
That I don't know.
If I remember right, I could be wrong, but I think he graduated. So I would put him probably between 215 and 220. I would put him closer to 220 though. Chris Quidiche, I think, is a big value on here. I think he's one of those guys that you don't know. He averages 215, but you don't know how he doesn't average 220 or 225 because he just throws it sweet.
Yeah. I think this is a stupid answer for me, but he's either going to stay where he's at or he's going to go 220.
Yeah, I would 100% take the over on Quidditch.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Next guy I don't know about.
Next guy's an asshole. We'll just go ahead and pass on that one.
I would take the over on you too, because you've been higher than that, and last year was just kind of a down year. So
I didn't throw it well last year.
I would put you probably closer to 220. If I was on the list, I was at 219.5, and I would have said that was value for me, which is kind of tough when you're looking at the 220 guys that you know that are going to average 220. It's like, well, on one hand, I've got a solid pick, but on one hand, I don't. On the other hand, I'm not getting any value there. So it's kind of like you're just you don't necessarily want to get what you pay for in this kind of a situation.
Yeah. If I throw it, or if I average like 215 again, that means I threw it like ass. So I went through some mechanical stuff last year. I also battled that finger injury. I missed some weeks. I think I missed like 6 or 7 weeks. I'm still dealing with it a little bit, but it's getting better. It's just time will heal it. So we'll be good.
Warren Elliott shoots.
I think I know where he's being drafted, by the way.
Okay. He always shoots 700 at me, but somehow averages 2. I don't know how that math works, because every time I see him, he's shooting 670 plus, but then he's always on the board at 215, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, based on his history, that's value, but just based on, I would think everybody looking at this is like, how did Warren only average 215? Like that's one of those names that I would look at and see big value, but he's probably averaged 215 again.
Every time he bowls us, he always bowls really well. So
yeah, I don't know how he ends up down there. I have no idea. I feel like he's a 220 average bowler.
Oh yeah, bowled the league for a long time too. So Haley Bush, I do not know anything about. Is she a college bowler? I'm assuming.
Yeah, she grew up in McPherson, and then she went to Kansas Wesleyan for a couple of years. Now she's going to be bowling at Ottawa. And 214 is like a 50 game average from Fusion. She only averaged about 200 in McPherson, but I talked to Riley about that, and he said, yeah, there's the ditch doesn't hook down there. She is a lefty. She's a lefty that just kind of puts it down the side. So she's kind of like a left-handed Caitlin Wagner.
Okay, all right.
She just kind of walks it. Shot 800 in Ottawa last year. She's good. Yeah, she just keeps it very simple and in play. I would probably put her at about 210, just because the pins are not going to cooperate with, and if you look at it, all the softer, like you were down last year, I was a little down last year. Caitlin was way down last year. All the people, it seemed like, unless if you had softer speed and kind of put it down, now a Jeff White or somebody like him and Alex Hardman had a year, but they throw it harder. If you had more medium to softer speed and not a whole lot of revs, the pins just did not cooperate.
No, they just didn't fall. They flat out just didn't fall.
So it just based on her game, I could see 210. I don't see 215. Kreitzer's an easy one. He's been a captain for a long time. Last year was a down year. I'd hit the all-in button on the over.
Yep. Jeffrey McCurdy, I have no idea who that is.
I think I looked him up.
Anybody in the chat know who that is? We'll start the mock here shortly. If we go through this entire list, Luke, we probably aren't going to make our.
Yeah, I know. I'm just this is a thing. I think I tried to look him up on Facebook and didn't. Oh yeah, he's a high school coach from Ottawa.
Oh, okay, cool.
James knows him.
Cool. Okay.
So
Caitlin Wagner, obviously, she's bowled the league for many years. We just talked about her. Very solid player. Not a ton of speed, not a ton of rev rate. Makes good shots. Makes her spares. She's a good player. Is the wife of a player that is one of the captains. Mm-hmm. So expect her to be drafted by. We'll talk about it. We'll get there. I'm ready to mock, man. I'm sorry.
I just need to hurry up through these. So the other Josh King, two-hander, fellow Ginger. I would put him on the over too, and I think it kind of depends on what kind of a team he gets on too. I would bet the over. I think he's going to be closer to 215 or maybe higher than that. Austin Hoff, you had Austin last year. It was his first year.
Jeff Alton was in there. You skipped Jeff Alton.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, Jeff Alton. I think that's a little bit low for him too. Again, he was a captain last year, the year before. And so it was just, again, he kind of spins it, just kind of helicopters it down the side, and he's all over the pocket constantly. It just depends, didn't cooperate this year. So I would take the over on him. Austin, you had Austin. He's he's kind of a fireball and two-handed lefty.
Two-handed lefty, power two-handed lefty, throws it really hard, turns the living shit out of it. Mm-hmm. He just came back to bowling last year for the first time in a while, took some time off. With some seasoning in him, the kid's going to be pretty good, I think.
Yeah, I would expect his dad to pick him.
Yeah, I would think so.
I think
let's not give away our mock picks here.
Yeah, I think that was kind of the plan. Zach Phillips is also a two-hander. I think that's probably about value for him. I think he'd go a little bit higher than that. I would put him, if it was between 215 or 205, I would bet on 215.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to go lower than that.
I agree. Ken Caudell, I don't think anybody should draft him. The guy's just mean.
Yeah.
We all know Ken Caudell. No, I'm just kidding. Anybody that drafts Ken Caudell that is not in this watching, he is the most fun guy ever.
We all know Jay Futrell's drafting him.
Yeah, Jay Futrell is taking Ken Caudell, so everybody just stay away from him. Okay. So next.
Why don't we just go ahead and start mocking, and then we'll talk about
if we got time left over, we can go through it.
Yeah.
I'm good with it.
293. I actually had that on video.
Yes, he was one of the weeks I did not make it.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start. Jeff White, what are your thoughts? Where are we going?
Once you get down there's some interesting things happening in the lower, especially with the people that I don't expect to get drafted. But we'll pick that up once we get through, and we can mock we'll mock the first round.
Yeah.
Now that we've talked about the first so many names here that are
the first page
iterations to go in the first round, you can't really tell second round. Second round is a complete crapshoot. It's a toss up. But then once we get down to the last half of the last round, then you're starting to look at who's not going to get drafted. And so there's some points to make there. So who do you got? Who are you thinking for Jeff White?
I think Jeff White, because I think he's going to go with somebody familiar with himself, or just not familiar with himself, just somebody he's familiar with, and is going to want somebody that he enjoys to bowl with. I think he's going to go Jesse Bauer. I know it's been talked about in here already, but I've been thinking that since I originally saw the list. So I think he goes Jesse Bauer. I really do, which is a great pick, and also gives him some value there in the first pick overall, and doesn't make his average reset go crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would 100% agree with that, because I think that, number one, it's a good value at 219. It's going to keep Jeff right at 440, just a couple hundreds under 440, which is going to be probably in the middle. Yeah, I mean, last year was freaking crazy. Everybody went low. There were still like 215 pluses on the board in the last round last year.
Yeah, dude, it was weird.
Absolutely nuts.
I know. It makes me feel like I was an idiot after I was the only guy that drafted high on the board. And I'm like, did I do something wrong?
Yeah. Like, what happened there? But say 440 is going to be about mid second round. Plus,
which is not a bad place to be after your first pick when you pick a guy like Jesse Bauer.
Yeah, when you get a Jesse Bauer, the step that I think he's probably going to go for 225 this year.
No, I agree.
And Jeff can put up some monster scores. He shot 839 last year, and just Alex Hardman.
Yep. Mike Hathaway is one. Were you still on Jeff, or are you going to the next one?
No, we can move on.
Mike Hathaway to me is one that is really interesting. He is a first-time captain,
and
he's always bowled on a team of everybody that he's friends with. Star frame stuff. I'm going to go out on a limb here and go crazy, but I could see him dropping all the way down to 214 and taking Warren Elliott.
Yeah, because he has bowled with Warren before on one of Trent's teams. I could see him going down to Warren. I could also see him taking somebody like Cawthorn or Henniger.
I could see Cawthorn.
If I'm Mike Hathaway, he's been the three-hole bowler.
Getting better and better every year, too.
Yeah, getting better every year. I kind of think that Mike would like to stay in the three-hole. Now, I don't disagree that he goes down. I don't disagree with him going down and getting Warren, which would give him a really good pick the next round. But then you're kind of in the situation where you've got 2-3 bowlers.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If you're Jeff White picking Jesse, well, Jeff had a little bit of a down year, I think, or him or Jesse could bowl in the four. I think Jeff bowled in the 4-hole the entire year last year anyway.
He did.
So
He did. Yeah, I could see. I could see Cawthron. I was really trying to wrap my head around it when I was looking at this and going through it. And I'm like, he's gonna go with the guy he's bowled with for so long. But at the same time, I'm like, God, man, you'd really handcuff yourself if you don't take a big player here.
yeah, Matt Carpenter is another interesting one for me because
I have no clue.
I think he likes bowling with. I don't think he's going to draft. Well, it depends on who he knows too. Like he's younger. He just got out of college a year or two ago. I don't know how much he gets around. I don't know if he knows a Zach Cawthron or a Mark Henninger
or Dan All for that matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he takes best available. I really do. I think he's going to go top of board. I mean, if he's smart, he takes a lefty like Dan All.
That probably I was going to say that because I think that's the best fit personality wise for him too, because he's a pretty chill, laid back dude too. I'm not sure if he would gel too well with a Zach or a Mark. I think Dan is more his speed.
Yeah, so people forget that Hathaway averaged like 230 plus at last. Mm-hmm. I mean, the dude was on a train.
Yeah,
he was on a train. He can do it. That's why I think I could see him going low. Thank you, James, for pointing that out. Yeah, because we bowled against him midway through the second half, I think. And dude was just, I know, he was always close to it. Dude just wrecking people. So, good.
Yeah, so if he doesn't, and Matt also might be looking at somebody like a Kevin Burrell, because Matt is two-handed.
Yeah.
He thinks through things fairly logically, and so he might think, okay, well, I don't, but Dan would fit that idea too, because he's lefty. He's on the other side of the lane. But somebody like a Kevin Burrell, or maybe somebody like you too, that just, it just puts it down the side and is not gonna. He's not gonna take even if Jesse was available. He's not gonna take a Matthew Berg or a Jesse Holtkamp or a Jesse Bauer. I don't think he's gonna want to fill that team up with two-handers.
If, in my opinion, that would just be plumb silly, but. You guys can roast me for that, but that's just my opinion on that. Matt Carpenter. So James is in here, thinks he's going to, well, he's already kind of explained what he's going to do. He's going to take somebody, Matt's not going to go big, probably over is it over 220 or under 220? That's yeah. Okay.
Yeah, under 220, kind of.
Under 220. So he's going to take, so if he's going to go that route, let's go in the middle and go somebody he's familiar with. God, I could see him taking Nick Canfield there, honestly.
Yeah, I could see him taking Campfield, or Kevin Burrell would be. If I was him, I'd be looking at a Kevin Burrell.
Yeah, for sure. Matt Carpenter, Zach Rhodes. It depends on how the board falls to Zach. I
think he's, and I've kind of heard whispers about. I think he's going to go for John Baden, because they bowled together last year.
Yeah.
And they bowl a lot of regionals, and they kind of see the lane similarly. I think the way that they play the lanes kind of works together. They kind of work together there, and 217 is a good value for John. And, I think that works out across the board, because that puts him at 438, 439.
For sure, yeah.
And you get a solid three bowler with upside. So
Burrell's was a good pick on him. What's his name? Zach, I'm thinking that's tough. I could see him taking a Matthew Berg too. Matthew Berg would be a solid pick for him, I think. Nick Vaughn, we haven't even discussed Nick Vaughn. Nick Vaughn could be a good pick for Zach.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we're quite there yet. Mike, that might be a Mike Hathaway pick, but
actually, you're right. I could see Hathaway taking a Nick Vaughn. Nick Vaughn would be a good pick for Hathaway.
Yeah, and Hathaway would be fine with him not being there every week. So he's there. They would do well together, I think. Ryan Klaus is interesting.
This is a tough one, and I've been thinking about this one when I was looking through the list earlier today.
Because he had wanted to bowl with me again, I think, because we did well together last year, and I would be the safe pick that would be right there at 219, 220 with a little bit of upside, and he knows exactly what he's getting because we bowled last year.
Right.
And that would put him right around that 440 mark, 441, 442. Good place to start. And we kind of went back and forth between being, 3-4 a lot of the year after I got out of the one hole. But it was nice to have the flexibility down there with us averaging fairly close, depending on who we were bowling against. It gave us a little bit of flexibility, especially with okay, if it's going to be good on the left tonight, then or this is a pair that we're bowling these guys. Maybe you should, we're bowling the righties. They're going to tear the side up. Maybe I should be the anchor because at least I should have a better idea. So it just really worked out last year. But with me not on the board, I would if Dan All is still there, I would encourage him to take Dan.
Yeah, Dan All's there. I think he takes him 100%.
Mm-hmm.
If Dan All is not there, though, is the problem.
Yeah.
I could see him just because of the camaraderie. I could see Ryan Miller.
Yeah, I could see Ryan Miller, and that would be a great pick right there. I could also see him because, again, we both bowled with Josh King, Baker Josh King, 215 Josh King. I could see him taking Josh too.
That was a tough one. I've been trying to wrap my brain around that one all day.
That one,
and I was like sitting there and I'm like, I could see Ryan Miller. I could really see a Ryan Miller. Dan All for sure. Yeah, I could see Dan All going there.
Still there, if I was Ryan, I would just take the hit on the number.
I don't think I don't know if Dan All's going to be there is the problem. I don't know. I'm really curious how this plays out tomorrow night. I'm not going to the meeting. So, but I'm excited to find out how it plays out. We probably should have penciled this down.
Yeah. No, it makes it interesting because you can go in with a plan. Like James has got freaking spreadsheets. And within the first 5 picks, you're probably just going to be able to tear them up. Like, and it's fun to do because I've done the same thing. And you want to do it anyway, but it's also fun to just kind of shoot from the hip because you've got to be flexible too. You can go in with a plan, but you've got to be able to ditch that plan as soon as somebody says a name that you weren't expecting, and you're like, "Oh shit, what do I do now?"
Yeah, because like you just said, if you don't, you are screwed, and you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, so most of the time it's just like this. It's like, okay, well, I don't know what somebody else is going to do. I've got some people, I've got some names I'm looking at. You want to guess, but you got to be able to pivot.
Yeah, exactly how we're breaking this down is exactly how it works in the draft.
Yeah,
it really does.
But it goes a lot faster.
It does go faster, yeah. Yuri, I think Yuri's going to go with a guy. I'm going to go like Jason Crouch.
That's exactly where I was going to. I think Yuri and Jason, I think, work well together. I think that's going to happen because I think that Jason should be able to be there more this year. And I think the average is he's going to get at least 225 out of him. I think he could probably get up to 227, 228. But I think that Jason in a better situation team wise. And
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Mike Tennyson, or excuse me, Bo McVeigh. Keep us moving here so we can at least get to a point here. Bo McVeigh's always never really know where his head's at.
No idea. Never have any idea what Bo's going to do. But if
I can see Bo taking a Matthew Berg.
If Nick Vaughn should absolutely not be there for Bo, and I would riot if he was. But if Nick, because they bowled together, they actually ride to league together.
Yeah, if Nick Vaughn is still there and when he's up, we're in trouble.
Yeah, if Nick Vaughn is still there for Bo, that's a 100% auto lock. Don't even have to think about it.
Yeah, that's a fact. I see a realistic spot where he could be there.
Yeah, he shouldn't be.
I don't know if Ryan Klaus would let him by.
That's the other thing. If I'm Ryan, Nick should not make it out of the first 4 picks. He just shouldn't. And if he does, if they let Bo get Nick, then that's going to be I don't even care who else Bo drafts the rest of the way out. That's my pick for the best team in the league, just automatically.
I mean, there's a couple combos I see here already up front that if it picks go the right way, I can see it. I'm not gonna throw it out there just because I don't want people to be to. You and I can discuss it off there, but
Yeah.
just because I had discussions about it earlier, so
Um,
I wouldn't disagree with it.
but if the trick is if Nick is not on the board, I have no idea.
I'm telling you, I think there is a very, very realistic opportunity that he's there.
I do too. He shouldn't be, but I think he could be. He could be, and if he is, then that's a done deal.
Yeah. So we're gonna. Okay. So if he doesn't go, I say he'd go like a Matthew Berg. If he doesn't go, a Nick Vaughn. If Nick Vaughn's not there, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Bo's all over the place. I have no idea.
He really is. It's hard.
He could go. I could see Bo if Nick is not there. I could see Bo going down to Jay Kreitzer.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I can see Jay
Kreitzer
Kreitzer.
or Caitlin.
Jesse Bauer is actually calling me right now.
Oh yeah.
Let me put him on mute real quick.
Yeah. Put him on speaker. So Tennyson always goes highest available. And the danger there is that Mike is tough. He's going to average 225, if not higher. He always buys one ball a year. He throws that one ball the entire year, and he owns Muncher's Donuts across the street. And so he comes to bowl and bowls with the same ball every single week, regardless of who they're bowling, what condition they're on. And then he goes and works the night shift at the bakery afterwards and averages 225 doing that. So Mike is kind of terrifying. And Mike, without fail, he has no strategy but take the highest available. He doesn't care if he knows them. He doesn't care whatever. He's taking the highest average available, which if Tennyson gets a Mark Henniger, I think that's even worse than Bo getting Nick.
I'm back now. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
No, he just had a question. I said, I'm on the air right now. I know I can hear you.
Yeah, I am.
And then I heard my repeat back to myself. Jesse Bauer's calling me right now.
Yeah.
Where were you at there? Sorry.
I was just talking about Mike Tennyson.
He's going to take the best available on the board.
Yeah, best available. And if he gets a Mark Henniger,
yeah,
that to me is worse than Bo getting Nick.
Yeah.
Because like I was saying, Mike owns Munchers. He works the night shift. He buys one ball a year, and he throws that ball the entire year, no matter who they're bowling, what pair they're on, whatever else, and he averages 225 doing that. And if he gets highest available, and he gets a Mark Henniger or a Zach Colley, if he gets any one of those up there, he's dangerous.
Mike threw last year's ball flavor of choice was the Ion Pro.
Mm-hmm. Year before that was the Tour Dynamics.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna go through the list on Mike Tennyson. He's gonna pick the best available. I've sat in the draft room with him before, so he's gonna take the best on the board. That's just what he does. He doesn't overthink things. It's just if you're at the top, boop, you're coming to me.
Yeah.
Paul Burnett, a first-time captain, is next on the board. I'm gonna go down and say he's gonna take a guy like Kreitzer because they bowled together last year.
Yeah, if Kreitzer's still available, that's a great pick because he knows Kreitzer is going to be back up from that.
Yep. I'm going to go with that just because I'm not sure where else. Maybe Mike Graham, maybe a Michael Graham because he knows Michael Graham.
Yeah, I think everybody's saying that, or somebody was saying that Keeler was gonna pick him.
Michael Graham.
Yeah, because Keeler and Michael.
No, I thought they were talking about. Gosh, where is it now?
Well, they said that Keeler talked Michael into joining the league.
I thought that was somebody else. There was Dennis Melvin.
Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah.
Just
okay, I don't know where I got Michael Graham from then, but yeah, I would if I was Paul, I'm looking hard at Jay Kreitzer because that puts him at 438 going to the next round, 439.
Yeah, why not?
439, and you get Kreitzer that could pop right back up to 220
for sure.
Easily.
Yeah.
So that's no brainer for me. If I'm Paul, I'm picking Kreitzer.
So we're both on the same page. That we're gonna go like
Yeah.
Kreitzer there. Okay.
Yep.
Rob Wagner.
If Caitlin's still there, he's taking Caitlin.
100%.
And it's not because it's not just I'm picking her because she's the wife thing. It's Caitlin's a legit pick, and especially at 212.
Oh yeah, Caitlin can play. There is no denying that. Caitlin can play.
She was 220. She was like,
she's a previous captain.
She missed it. Yeah, she has been a captain before, and she just missed out on being a captain last year by like half a stick.
Half a stick? Oh yeah, it was like a half a stick. Was it on me?
Yeah, she was awful close. She was like 220, whatever. Yeah, she was like 220.5 or something. So she was right there.
220. Okay, yeah, that's right. She was right there. Sorry. She was nice. So we both agree that Rob Wagner is going to go Caitlin.
Yeah, I don't. And I
would
think
100% pick Dan All, but Dan All is going to be long gone.
Yeah,
because they are buddies. James Hoff, we kind of discussed this a little bit ago. Go ahead.
I think he'll take Austin.
I think he's taking Austin.
Take the kid.
Jesse, sorry for the interruption. Thanks for doing this. You know what, dude? You just ruined the whole program.
Yeah, I'm ruining the program by dragging it out.
I'm trying to keep you moving here because it is 7:17. So
yeah, well, and there's 80 names on this list too, so that's just.
And we could still go back because we have a second round.
If we took,
if
we spent 1 minute on every name, that's an hour and a half. So.
Yeah, and you're never going to spend 1 minute on anything. Austin or James Hoff, I think we both agreed. I think he's going to go Austin.
Yeah, he'll take Austin. And Austin's got the upside too.
Austin has a lot of upside. Like I said, he's a two-handed power lefty, throws it hard and turns the ever-living piss out of it.
Yeah.
I think the kid has got some talent. Just coming back from not bowling for a long period of time, a few-year layoff or however it was, he'd be a good pick. And it gives him some value to reset himself. So that's good. Jay Futrell is going to take Ken Caudell.
Ken Caudell. And that's one of those that there are some people that you just know are going to take somebody else. So even if you would like to take that person, it's kind of like there's almost a little respect type of thing in there where it's like, I would like to take Ken, but I know that Jay's going to take Ken. And so it's just like you knew that Trent was going to draft Hathaway every year. And so even if Hathaway was a good pick, it's kind of like, well, Trent's taking Hathaway. I'll let they like to bowl together. I'll let Trent have Hathaway. Type of deal. And so that's the thing is Jay always picks Ken. And
it just is what it is, unfortunately.
Yeah. Trent, now I don't know Trent is, if Warren Elliott's still there, and we talked about this with Warren possibly going to somebody else. If Warren Elliott's still there, that's a 100% lock for Trent because Warren is one of Trent's guys.
Yeah, I agree with that. Warren and Trent have bowled together many years.
Yeah. I think
they always a fun team to listen to every week with the star team,
Yeah.
That whole jazz. Him, Hathaway. It's kind of weird seeing those guys split away from each other for a change.
And he didn't get. But again, I could see Hathaway. That might be a sneaky thing for Hathaway to drop down and take Warren. That'd set him up for a really big second round pick. Yeah,
and I mean, if you think about it, there really is a lot of. I still think there's a ton of value even on the second page here.
Well, and
we haven't even dove into that.
Is I think that this is a safe. I think that this is another year where people are going to go lower because outside of, I would say Dan, Mark, and Crouch are the bigger numbers that I would fire on in the first round. But I think that you get into the second round, you're still going to have a Jesse Holt Camp. Might have Zach Cothran might actually fall to the second round too, because I think enough people know him that if you get up to like a Alex Hardman territory, it's kind of like, well, if I can get this guy, even if he only averages 221 or 222, it's like, what else? Alex averaged 230. He's going to have to dip down. He's going to have to take a 2D. He's going to have to take like a Mike Smallwood to have a competitive pick in the next round. So at that
Which one are we talking? Hardman?
Hardman.
Which pick are we on though? Are we on Danny Bradley?
Yeah, we're on Trent.
Okay. Keep talking Trent for a second. I'm going to step away for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Keep going though.
This is one of those things where if you have an opportunity to dip down and get some, so like a Trent Overby getting, or like a Mike Hathaway, if he decides to go that route and get like a Warren Elliott, and you're at 437, 438, I think that you could trick it this year and still have somebody on the board like a Jesse Holtkamp or a Kenji London or somebody, and possibly Zach Cothran up there, or maybe even a Matthew Berg, that you can kind of get who you want in the first round and then still get a sneaky pick early in the second round and make everybody kind of, go, God, how the hell did we let that happen? Because there's been years before where Russ has gotten people, and it's like, everybody has their own game or their own strategy going through the thing, but then Russ ends up going I think Russ got Tyler Gromlovitz one year, and everybody's going like, how the hell did we let this happen? And they both averaged like 235.
That was just a couple of years ago, if I remember that right.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where everybody's kind of playing their own individual game and they just don't think about it. But then you get down to those top few spots, and all of a sudden you've just left them a gift. And they're looking at it like, okay, well, I'm going to have to get any kind of competitive pick in the second round. I'm going to have to go low. And even if I go low, I'm still going to be lower in the second round. So if I'm already looking at sacrificing a pick to still end up with like the 13th or 14th pick in the second round, it's like, screw it. I'm just going to go big, because there's no difference between 15th and 18th. It's like, if I'm going to have to drop all the way down to like a Mike Smallwood and still be picking 12th or 13th in the second round, if a Zach Cothran's still on the board, I don't give a shit. Because at that point you're working with free space, because you can only go so low in the second round. And if it's only going to mean the difference between like 3 or 4 positions, I'm just going to fire on it. And what I get, because you're going to get what you get anyway.
For sure.
So people are going to have to be a little careful once we start getting up to Trent Overby territory.
I stepped away for just a second, but I could hear you the whole time. It's the power of having a wireless pack.
Yeah.
So we're still on Trent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Warren Elliott, 100%.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and say Warren Elliott. The only reason why I thought about Hathaway doing it earlier is just because they have bowled together a lot too.
Yeah.
I could see him just going, okay, I want to bowl with my friend, but Trent Overby, 100%. We're taking Warren Elliott. Danny Bradley is
if Hathaway takes Elliott, then I'm thinking like Jeff Alton again, because Jeff bowled with him last year, and I think that might he might go that direction again, but he might get Kevin Burrell too, because they bowled together too. So
they have, yes.
Trent's got several options that I would not be surprised with him going certain directions. So Danny Bradley.
This one's interesting. Danny Bradley, great bowler, was not a captain last year, but was the year before, correct?
Yeah, he had a really weird year. He only averaged 217 or 215 or something last year.
And so he whacked them pretty good last year.
Yeah, he averaged 230 something, and then he only averaged 215, and then he averaged 230 again. So I don't know what happened to him the year before, but
I think he went through a knee injury or something. I thought he said something about it, he had a knee issue, but I'm not sure. But Danny's an interesting one because I never know where his head's at. Been friends with the guy for many, many years, but I just don't know where he's going to go.
He might take Mighty Mouse.
He might take Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse might be sitting there for old Danny Bradley.
He'd be in the pick, because that's kind of right in that he's not, even if somebody like a Zach Cothran or a Henniger is still there, he knows those guys, but that
Cothran and Henniger are gone by then, I think. I think there's somewhere Cothran falls.
They should be. If I'm Danny Bradley and Henniger's sitting there, I'm not even thinking about that. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not doing the math. I'm just taking Mark.
I could see me going to Danny Bradley. My Mighty Mouse, just so people know. That's what he calls me.
That's like the perfect zone, because you're at 215. You've got upside. That still keeps him under 445, which is still going to put him lower. But I think that you're just kind of right in that perfect spot.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. If you're listening, Danny, that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Great idea.
Stephen Keeler, I think he's going DJ Melvin. Or Dennis Melvin, not DJ, Dennis Melvin. I saw D earlier, Dennis Melvin.
Yeah, Dennis Melvin, because I don't think anybody else knows who Dennis is. And
he apparently encouraged him, right? Him and James,
yeah.
I guess?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he talked to him in the league, so I think that he would. And nobody else is gonna take him. So I think that Keeler would absolutely take him.
I would enjoy to bowl with Keeler one year. I think he'd be fun to bowl with one year.
Yeah.
Are we good? We both agree on Keeler.
Yeah.
We're ready to go to Hardman?
Yeah, I'm
not sure.
May get down and take his dad. John Hardman at 208 is nice.
Do you really think he's going to drop down to 208?
Well, he's at 230. So if he drops down, because John had a down year last year, John could easily, I think, because he didn't bowl for a while. He was kind of coming back into it from something. I don't remember what happened. Because like last year, the year before, he broke his foot. This year was a different thing. But John at 208, he's a 215 plus pretty easily. Plus, that puts Alex at 438, 439. So I could 100% see Alex taking his dad.
I'm always good with a good guy getting picked early or picked in the first round.
And if
Hardman's a good dude.
Yeah, and if Alex doesn't pick him, I really don't know.
I don't either.
I have no idea. If he doesn't pick his dad, I just don't know.
Anybody in here in the chat, I have a question. If you're a league bowler or familiar with the league, familiar with Alex Hardman anyway, you're looking at this list outside of his dad, what do we got? What are we thinking? And Jason Nelson, Russ is not getting Jesse. Jesse will not. Jesse Bauer will not fall all the way to Russ.
Jesse's going to be going along. Yeah,
I can guarantee you that Jesse Bauer is not falling to Russ.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think he's 100% gone the first pick.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
If Alex didn't take his dad, I had no, because his brother's not on the list. I have no freaking idea.
I think he bowled with Nathan last year, didn't he? Didn't Nathan fall to him?
The Hardmans normally bowl together, and whoever Alex doesn't take, Russ takes.
I think I know everyone in the chat except Derek. Wait, add to the list. Yeah, Derek.
Yeah. Derek knows what's going on, and he's not in the league. So
yeah, what is your last? I mean, if you don't want to blast your
what's
last
up, bro?
How do you know? I'm not familiar with the first name, so help us out. And please don't play incognito on us.
Yeah. Anyway, James,
you never know with James Niffen. Sorry.
Yeah, he showed me his list, but I don't want to give away trade secrets.
No, don't give away secrets.
Just if I'm just because I know he's not going to want to. He's at 230, which is not as bad as last year. He was at 240 last year, and so
I could see James going Natalie Dutton.
James had to really drop.
Actually, wait a minute. No, Smallwood's still sitting there. He's taking Smallwood.
Smallwood would be a good pick because that keeps him right at that.
And they bowled together the last couple of years, and they work together. They work well together. Poston,
yeah, okay.
And you're coming in here incognito as Derek.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Tell us about all his kids here.
Yeah, why didn't you give us the insight on the kids here, man? If you've been in here the whole time, help us out.
I was talking to somebody. I was giving Jeffrey his props earlier because he's got a beastly lineup coming into Ottawa this year. These kids,
yeah, he does.
Again, I was hitting bull.com and then looking them up on Facebook, and yeah, he's got a squad.
And I should have made sense with it when it says Russ sucks taking under 210 on him. I should have known better. Excuse me. But yes, I could see Niffen taking a Mike Smallwood.
Yeah, that's
I could see him taking. Oh, I'm just starting to dip down, looking a little bit. I mean, there's still some names on the front list that he's so tough. I never know where his damn brain's at. So
I know one of his strategies, and I'm not going to give it away, but
yeah, no, please don't. Yeah, we're not.
Not knowing the strategy, Smallwood is a good target.
Yeah, and posting nice recruiting out there. Good job, man. Good for you. Good best of luck to you guys.
Yeah, these guys.
Russ Wilson. So we don't have to worry about giving away Niven secrets here. Let's go to Russ Wilson here.
Well, if Hardman is available, if Alex for some reason doesn't take his dad, Russ is 100% taking his dad. But Russ is a real wild card. Russ takes anybody, and he would take people that you wouldn't expect him to. If there's one of the college kids, I think that because I know for a fact that a couple of them, like Jesse Holtkamp, will probably still be there.
You think Jesse Holtkamp will still be there? You think Holtkamp will still be there just because of the unknown factor?
Yeah, Holtkamp. Okay. But if I'm looking from what I saw on, watching things on Facebook, if I'm Russ, I would talk Russ into taking Kenji. If Kenji's still there, I think that they would just click for some reason. Just okay. Watching Kenji throw it. If I was Russ, I would 100% just take Kenji.
Okay. I like it. I really don't know.
Yeah, James might take McCurdy too because he's seen him bowl, and of the one again, you never know with college kids. Even though they look like they throw it good on Facebook, and some of them, I think Jesse did really well at. I think going back to that. I think he was like top 10 at junior gold in the under 18 division.
I could see a Russ Wilson taking a. I could see even a Zach Phillips.
Russ is all over the board. He'll take anybody. Normally he defaults to a Hardman, but he doesn't have a Hardman. I don't think he's going to have a Hardman to pick this year.
Okay, all right.
So I would say that if there's again, you can coin flip it for. I have no idea.
Yeah, Russ is tough, man. He always is tough to gauge on what he's thinking and what he's going to do. Oh, and I was just told by Jesse, shout out to the guys in the Zone Pro Shop in Lawrence. They've got us on live in the shop. So what's up, dudes?
Yeah.
What's up, guys? Looking forward to seeing you guys next week. I will not be at the meeting tomorrow night, so I'm sorry about that, but I'll see you next week. Chris, I'll see you on Saturday, so for Youth League. But, I mean, do you want to flip around to page 2 and have some fun, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, do you want to try and do a round 2 here, or do you want to go back through the rest of the list and just kind of talk about the page 2? Because we never really got there.
Well, and see, like Josh King said, Kenji's a certified dog. Yeah, that's the thing it's not necessarily, because who people are going to pick is tough to predict. That this could go completely, like last year went completely sideways and off the rails, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell's happening because people were available in the third round that I thought were going to go in the first round.
I know, dude. I was the same way.
Right. I think that there are some predictable names that will fall to the second round, which could make it interesting. Now, if we're dropping down, if we're looking at some of these names down low, if somebody wants to go contrarian and say, okay, well, I want to get, instead of being stuck with somebody that they may or may not want in the last round, some people drop down and get their lower pick first. Because if you got somebody down there like a Noah Belt that had a bad year that could average 215, you're getting, and again, expecting some of these names to be there that people don't know, like a Jesse Holtkamp or like a PJ, like a Kenji, or just some of the names that are naturally going to slip through the cracks. I think that going low in the first round and getting a Noah Belt, who could be 215, and then getting a 220 early in the second round could be just disgusting.
Yeah, for sure.
Because there's still some names down there towards the bottom here, like a Nick David, that has gotten a whole lot better. He subbed for us for a few weeks. he's going to be somebody that should not be left on the draft board at the end of the year. Austin Goodale is another one that people may not think about. He averaged, got on 215 or 220 over the summer in our scratch league, and coming in at 205, that's a real bargain. Justin Preston is somebody that I think too that is under Eric Schultz. Now he moved to this area. He has a year under his belt now. I think he bowled a lot better in the second half of the year than he did in the first.
Yep, and Eric Schultz throws it really good.
Yeah, I would put him at 215 probably this year. And so if you're looking at, there's a bunch of, that average scares me, even if they're going to, because 227, even if you're getting somebody like a Mark Henninger, you know exactly what you're getting.
Yeah.
You may or may not want to be picking last in the second round, and so you're looking at a bunch of names on the right side of this list
for sure
that you could take in the first round and still get a Jesse Holtkamp or a PJ or a Kenji London or, somebody like Kevin Burrell sneaks through, or Chris or Quidditch sneaks through, or, it's one of those things. There are a lot of names that you can drop down to on the lower side of this list. And if it gets you a top 5 pick in the second round, that could be pretty disgusting.
No, I agree with that. And I think there's still a ton of value over there on the right side of the page.
Yeah, there is.
I mean, I just looking at names. I'm not going to name a bunch of names, but just looking at a few names, I'm like, man, there's some guys over there that can be dogs, man.
Mm-hmm. And then the other side of that too is that you've got a lot of names kind of in your territory, kind of the 210 to 220 average range that are still going to be there.
Yep.
In the second round, that are solid names. So even if you don't get a top 5 pick in the second round, you've got a lot of solid names that are probably still going to be there that you're also going to be able to pick up. So I think that controlling this, I think the second round is going to be very interesting this year, because you can get a couple nasty, you're going to have a couple awesome picks at the top of the round.
Yeah.
But you're still going to have a lot of quality picks in the back half of the round too. So I think that if you want to go big in the first round, you're not going to be screwing yourself too much.
Yeah.
But if you want to go low in the first round, you could really set yourself up nice in the second round.
I think this draft could be just as dicey as it was last year.
Yeah,
I really do, and I think a lot of it is the unknown factors of a lot of the new names.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. That's the thing, is that it's going to be, some of those unknown names are going to fall through the cracks, and they're going to be big picks in the second round. But again, you don't know exactly what you're going to get out of them.
I mean, we haven't even brought up a Dennis Orr yet. Dennis Orr's still sitting there at 220.
He will be
right now. You and I have kind of passed him on to round 2.
Well, and that's the thing. He is. I guarantee you, he's going to be there in the back half of round 2.
You think the back half?
Back half, like the second half, like he's going to be there still around pick 8, 9, or 10 in the second round.
That's
so that could be a sneaky pick. It's like he's not going to average 220, and he's a 50-ish guy that kind of zings it right off the corner, but he's going to stay out of trouble. He's going to be like your Ronnie Bell type of player.
That's a great comparison, actually.
And so Ronnie started off rough last year, but
nerves.
He got it together, and he put some sets up, and Dennis is going to be in that same territory. I think but if you can pick him up later in the second round, if he's still there, I wouldn't take him in the first round, but if he's still there in the second, there's 9 people that are not going to get drafted, and there's another couple names down there in the maybe won't get drafted list that I would still be perfectly like this Brandon Highstand down there. He is on the books for 202, but when he signed up, he told them 220, but he doesn't have anything on Bolt. He doesn't have a sanctioned average at 220. So
interesting. Okay.
yeah, he said he was 220, and I'm not sure where that's coming from. It maybe an unsanctioned league, but his high sanctioned average is 202. So that could be one that's like, okay.
Put that in the back of your head, and you're like, okay, that could maybe play.
Yeah, I think the last name on there, Austin Bagby, is solid.
And he is mostly a Topeka bowler.
Yeah.
I know he bowls with Noah Belt on Tuesday night at Trevor's League. And the Gauge Primetime on Tuesday nights. We're never close to each other, but I know he's subbed a couple times. I'm not really sure how he did. Is that 193 going to be his average subbing at Royal Crest? I wonder if he had enough games. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know the situation there, but
I'd have to ask Jesse about that. He's driving right now. I was just texting him.
Yeah.
But I'm not 100% certain that if I had that information, I would tell everybody, but I don't. So I apologize.
Matt makes a good point. He said a lot of the bowlers on the right side of the list could be around 220.
Yeah.
Brent Coleman's getting back into it. He's on the board for 210. He could go north of 215.
Absolutely.
Matt himself could go for 210, 215.
I think Nick Cruz has more than 209.
Yeah, Nick Cruz has got more than. I think Terry Tidd will get up a little bit.
Yep. Rick Jimenez is definitely. Rick Jimenez could average 220.
Yeah, he has averaged 220. John Hardman could get back up there. I'm not sure if Eric Schultz will quite get there, but he'll be 215 anyway.
I think another year under his belt and seeing the transition with all the friction.
He'll be 220. Yeah, Brandon just recently switched to two-hander a year ago. Talked to him a couple times. Nick David, I think, is going to be 210. Austin Goodale is going to be 210, 215. Wedgie at 205.
Yeah, there's.
I mean, that's
Wedgie's going in this draft. I just don't know where he's going.
And then
isn't it pronounced Weddage?
Yeah, it's Weddage, but everybody calls him Wedgie.
Well, he always call him Wedgie, yeah.
But the Jacobsons too. I spent a couple hours with Dennis the other day.
We talked about this, yeah.
He was just kind of going through it last year. He's averaged 220 before. Austin was at 217 last year. He broke his foot before the league started.
Yeah, he missed like the first month.
Yeah, he missed the first month, and he was just never quite right the entire year. Dennis, I got him to move. I think he was just overthinking a little bit. I got him to move right a little bit so that he could get his speed up. And now he's just firing darts. I told him it's like trying to want to throw pretty nice looking shots is a good goal, but so is being Jeff White.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of Dennis's issue was I think you're right. He was just too soft with his ball speed and trying to give it too much of the wheel.
Trying to guide it and
get back to doing what you're good at.
And so, I just said, just think Jeff White, because the guys, again, that threw it harder down the side, Jeff White had a couple big sets. Alex Hardman averaged 230 and shot 820s, 830 something, 840 something the last 2 weeks of league.
I think he had like 840.
Yeah. The last week of league was 840, but the week before that was like 820 something or 8.
Yeah, Hardman went nuts last year.
Yeah. So
I see a guy on here like Mike Gilmore too. Gilmore has bowled the league a long time. He's a lefty. It's always good to have a decent lefty on your team, no matter what. I could still see Gilmore going in this draft. With us, we're not playing the second round because it's too hard to predict because we don't know exactly where everybody's going.
Yeah.
But Gilmore could be a good addition to a team on the left side. I could see Futrell taking him to bowl with Ken. Him and Ken and Futrell, because I think they bowled together last year.
Mr. Ginger King, what do you think you're going to do? I think you're probably going to be 215-ish. Would that be fair to say?
Oh, you're talking about Josh?
Yeah, he's still hanging out here. I think he's going to be higher than what he was. I think again, I think his upside is going to be based on what kind of a team he lands on. I think if he ends up with somebody like a Russ Wilson or Bo McVeigh, or I think where do you think you're going to end up? I know that kind of depends on the team that you land with. But yeah, where do you think, or where do you think you should be?
Ooh,
Give me both of those. No,
Steven, no Tobias this year. He
want to make
just
the
got
drive,
tired of the drive. Yeah.
especially in rough weather. 45 minutes is one thing, but when it starts getting snow on the ground,
I drive 20 minutes to get there. That's nothing.
it's a little trickier. But when we're looking at the bottom of this list, and I'm looking at who is probably not going to get drafted, a lot of these names are going to hurt because there are going to be names that are not going to get drafted that 100% should have.
Yeah, you're going to see some names and people are going to go, wow, how did they not get picked? But unfortunately, it is what it is. It is a very, very competitive league.
Yeah.
And I want people to know that if they are watching this and their name is in the draft, please do not get your feelings hurt. It has nothing to do with your personality or who you are. It's just a strongly competitive league. And
yeah,
it's all about making money.
Yeah, I think that there's going to be there's going to be some names that, and I could probably tell you.
I can tell you, but let's not do that.
Yeah, but they're the name, and that's the problem, is that the names are going to hurt.
This Wheeler Battaglia Davis. Do we have any intel on that person?
Not really. I kind of heard a little bit. He's kind of a bigger personality, I guess. And it's one of those things. I think he's going to be one of those names because nobody knows who he is, and he averages 200. I think it's just people. Once you get down to those last 5 picks, people are going to go with who they know. And I think that you're even going to see some of these, because there was one year where Kent Sherfy didn't get picked, and he was at 211, and he was just kind of hiding somewhere. And we got to the end of the draft, and it's like, wait, nobody picked. Because there were some like 190 somethings that got picked, and so that's why Kent hasn't been back to the league, because he's like, oh, okay, well that just must mean that.
Yeah, I know you had texted me. You were like, Sherfy didn't get picked, and I was like, what?
Yeah, because there were some 190 averages that got picked.
Yeah, Sherfy's a good guy, man. He's a good player.
And that would, if I'm Kent, that would tell me it's like, oh, okay, well then I guess nobody wants me there.
Nobody wants me there, so I'm out.
Because
the other one is Nate Ebner. Do you have any intel on Nate Ebner?
Not really.
Okay.
I think that's enough. I think that him. I don't think anybody knows Brandon Highstand either.
No, there was Josh King. I think put
something
Josh
in King here. Did say something, but he's not drafting, and I don't know if
he recently switched to two-handed a year ago. I've talked to him a couple times. Good kid.
I just don't know that once you get down there, I think there will be nobody's going to leave Tom Patton on the board.
No.
I think Noah's going to get picked up. Michael Gilmore, he's been in the league several years. It's one of those things that there's some people that are kind of legacy picks, even though they've had technically by the numbers they shouldn't get picked. So it's like, well, you get down to it, and it's like I would rather not let this person not be. I would rather have a bad, a worse team on paper than let this person go undrafted.
Okay, so Heiston, College Bowl at OU. Okay, good to know. Good deal.
But
that's transfer from Concordia U. Okay, sweet.
I think it's just from what I've heard about him, he should get drafted, but I just don't. It just his average on paper, and nobody really knows him. I don't think he'll get picked. But
yeah,
the good thing here is that I think a lot of these that don't get drafted will end up subbing a lot.
Oh yeah, and honestly, if you don't get drafted in this league and you haven't bowled the league, it is a good thing to put your interest out there that you would like to sub to get your feet wet, because it really is beneficial, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah.
Look at like a Nick David,
That's why I specifically thought of him when Corinne was out for us for a couple months. Because I thought he's been getting a whole lot better. He is somebody that's going to be a great 2-hole bowler for somebody. He's going to win a bunch of points for somebody this year as long as he gets picked. And I wanted him to get his name because he put his name in the draft last year, but he was like 187 or something, and so he didn't get picked. But I thought that he was going to put his name in again. I'm like, he deserves to be on somebody's team somewhere. And so that's why I got him into the league and I was hoping to get some eyeballs on him.
187 to 204. That's a pretty big leap for a year.
Yeah, he bowls 2 or 3 leagues a week, and he practices constantly.
I was in there last Saturday. Raylan bowls, my daughter bowls youth leagues on Saturday mornings at Royal Crest in the winter and the summer, and he was in there practicing this last weekend. So
yeah,
it's good to see him get in there, and I can tell you he practices more than I have.
He bowled the summer scratch league this year.
Do you know how he's doing?
Huh? I can't remember what he averaged in the summer, but he's had a couple coaching sessions with Zach Rhodes too.
Nobody can really see you though, honey, because we have the list up. But say hi. You want to give the microphone? Say hi, people.
Hi, people.
There you go. Say hello. Somebody just got home from softball practice.
Back to school for 9 solid months.
Yeah, back to school for 9 solid months. What do you think about it?
I don't care.
I don't care. All right. Let me do my thing. We're finished. We got a little bit left. I love you. Go eat. Eat it. Sorry. Anyways.
But yeah. So it's going to be crazy specifically because who's on the lower side of this list. I think that people are going to feel more pressure in the back half of the last round looking at who's not going to get picked. There's going to be an abundance of if I'm going into this, my overall theme is don't worry too much about draft position in the rounds because I'm going to have more people than I know what to do with at every single position in this round. Like I'm going to have a difficult, if I'm picking last in every single round, it's not going to be an easy decision, and I'm going to have an abundance of competitive picks. So this would not be a year that I would be conservative personally.
Yeah, no, I agree. I still think this draft, it's unfortunate that I'm not a part of it as a captain this year, but because I really think I'd like to be a fly on the wall just to see what's going to happen in this draft this year. It's different with all the new names. I'm curious to see how this goes. I personally drafted 2 guys last year that I had no idea who they were, with Austin and Ronnie. Mm-hmm. And so it made for an interesting year at first because, Austin getting back into bowling had never bowled anything like that anyways. Ronnie, it was just always typically bowled in your handicap leagues. And so the first couple of weeks, those guys were nervous as hell, right? They just, mm-hmm. I just, when you have to look at them, relax. Because it is when you get out there for the first time and you haven't done it, even if you're an experienced bowler and bowling stuff, you can get, there's a nerve tick to it, right? I mean, mm-hmm. Because, somebody's going to have in their head, this guy took a chance on me. He drafted me. So, I was telling him, it's no big deal. Let's just go have fun. It's what it's all meant to be. It's competitive, but it's still fun. People on this list, like we talked about, are going to get drafted or not going to get drafted that probably should have been. But it, like I said, it's no hard feelings. If you don't make it this year, please enter your name again. And eventually at some point in time, you'll get picked, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Normally I have always, first or second, the second round, I don't really care where I end up at. But the third round, I always wanted a earlier pick because I didn't want to end up with, somebody that I potentially didn't want to bowl with. Now that's the good thing about this league is that there's not a whole lot of people that even the I don't know, the most undesirable is not even a good word. I don't think that there's anybody on this list anywhere that I would say if I had to bowl with them, I wouldn't bowl. There are a lot of people that I would prefer to bowl with over some other people. And I think there's that goes for everybody. Everybody kind of has their preferences, but I don't think that there's anybody on this list that I'm like, oh yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
But if I am picking dead last in the last round this year, I'm going to have an embarrassment of riches waiting there for me. And so if I was drafting, I almost made it onto the lists. Let's say that I had, I don't know, the first, second, or third pick. if I can get a Zach Cawthron or a Mark Henniger, I don't care if they're Zach Cawthron. I don't. He's probably going to be between 220 and 225. I'm taking him anyway. I don't care. I'll take the risk because I'm still going to be looking at, if I get the last pick in the second round, I'm still looking at possibly a Brent Coolman or a Rick Jimenez. He shouldn't be down there. I think that Rick will go a whole lot earlier than that. But I'm still looking for an Eric Schultz or Austin Goodale or whatever else. And then with my very last pick in the third round, I've got the list is that long.
It really is. You're not wrong. It's why I said it's not really sketchy. It's not really the word I'm looking for, but it's such a different draft in style or in what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It's going to be different. Like we've said many times, a lot of it has to do with the different names that we haven't seen. The league average was down a little bit last year. You can see from guys like even our top guy, we didn't have a 240 average last year, and we've seen 240 averages for the highest average in this league the last how many years? So it's really tough to say, this guy's going to go up 5 pins, this guy's going to go up 3 pins.
Yeah,
I could see a lot of these guys even staying right where they're at.
Well, one of these, I wouldn't have bet on Noah averaging 2.0.
And I think a lot of it has to do with his injury. I really do.
But
I think he's still dealing with it a little bit, but I think he's fine now. I talked to him a little bit last night.
Yeah, I wouldn't have bet
on
Wedgie averaging 2.0. I wouldn't have bet on Caitlin being down at 212.
And I think Caitlin dealt with a lot of what I dealt with last year. I couldn't. The light hits, they wouldn't go. They were either flat 10s or they were swishing 7s.
And swishing 7s have been a thing at Royal Crest anyway, but they were just the ball didn't want to go through the pins the right way.
No, it's.
But the best strategy here might be play a little bit conservative the first round to make sure that you get one of those, oh shit, how did we let this person get to the second round type of picks. Yep. A little conservative the first round, swing for the fences the second round, and you're going to end up with a name, no matter where you pick in the third.
I agree. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm excited. I wish I could sit in the draft room. I really do. I'm excited to find out who actually took me tomorrow. My feelings won't be hurt if you guys don't take me. That means I'd only have to bowl 1 day a week, and that means I'd get handicapped next year for sure because I bowl a gauge. But before we forget, I got to put this out here for all the sponsors, especially since they add money to the league. Shout out to Royal Crest Lanes for hosting the league. The Mike Medlin Scratch League has been going on for a long time. It is a memorial of Mike Medlin, who was a longtime bowler of the Scratch League, Draft League. Wayne and Larry's, one of the best bar and grills out there for a bowling center, and in the Zone Pro Shop because they do add money to the center or to the league. So we shout out to everybody, and we appreciate it.
Yep, definitely. Well, that's the way too long overthinking.
You know what? They're so much fun, and I'll be honest with you. Luke probably put more in depth in this than I did. I mean, I looked through the names and was just kind of thinking, okay, this is where I think it's going to go. This is where I think it's going to go. Because no matter what we do here, we probably should have penciled this in just to see how close we were.
Yeah, we might have to do like a mock thing. Like I might go through tomorrow and like mock it up, and then next week we'll come back and do like a recap and see and talk shit on. Yeah,
because I mean we're not doing shows.
Who drafted shitty teams?
Yeah, we're not doing shows right now, so we're only looking for topics. But I'm kind of like I like when the local guys stay on here with us and enjoy it. I'm totally down to do a list and do a mock or like a post show draft to talk about the teams. I think that'd be a lot of fun. You just let me know if you want to do it, and I'm always in. You know that.
Well, and that's I did spend a little bit more time on it, or I spent more time on it this year because we've had more people from the league watching the show. Like before, it's just kind of been, well, there's nothing. It's freaking early August, there's nothing to talk about, and so we've just kind of put this thing together because it's of interest to us. But there's been, an increasing number of league people that have watched the show, and so, if we're just kind of bullshitting or whatever, there's a lot of people that are new on the list and to being captains too, and so a little bit of extra intel kind of helps out. And I know that we didn't really get to the people on the back half of the list, but there's only a couple people on the back half of the list that people wouldn't know, because pretty much everybody bowled last year outside of Brett Gamber is a name that I don't recognize.
Wheeler Battaglia Davis, Brandon Heiston bowl last year, but Poston did say that it was a 202 college or 202 college average. Nathan Gaylord's bowled the league before, did not get picked last year.
Yeah, Linda hasn't bowled for a couple of years, but she's back.
Yep.
Pretty much everybody bowled last year.
Yeah, and then the first list, if the average is up there, you're pretty much going to get picked.
Yeah.
Because somebody will take a flyer on you. Paul Double Vanilla.
Yeah.
Or Vanilla. Good Lord. Vanilla. I just need a list of the drinkers.
Yeah.
It's amazing, too, because you could have not even the best team, but if you have a good team camaraderie, it's amazing, though, like a good good camaraderie. It's amazing what little things you can do as a team. Because if you work well together as a team, you make the right moves, you'd be surprised at where you can come out at, even if you're not the strongest team. So
yeah, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings through doing this.
No, we really don't either. We are excited,
and I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. It is what it is. So
yeah, it is. I mean, it is. You're not wrong. We're always excited to do this show.
Just the same.
Always excited to do this show. It is fun to break this down as if we're breaking this down as like a fantasy football draft, but it's more realistic to us because we know these people and see it in and out. So we're not gonna break this down quite like fantasy football and say, well, this guy was trash last year, so we're not gonna do this.
Yeah.
Or else I'd badmouth myself on a lot of it. But
I think that's the cool thing about this too is most of these people that I'm like the lower, like I'm shocked at most of these. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm just I don't know about this person. I think they really overperformed last year. Most of the averages on here are either value or I don't know how they average that low. But yeah, like Derek said, for your team to be good, you need to draft a guy that's a captain in 2026. And that's what you're really looking for, at least in the first 5 to 6 picks. If you can, if the draft does go stupid and a Russ Wilson gets a Tyler Gromlovitz, then that shouldn't happen. But yeah, I mean that's the goal. You want to draft. You don't want to draft a 3 bowler or a leadoff bowler. You want to draft a 4 bowler.
That's why value is so big in this league.
Bowl 3.
It's like so much why value is so big in this league. Value is huge. You take a low guy that comes out and goes big. He's not wrong. He's not wrong at all.
Yeah.
So I'm pumped. I'm sorry for you that you don't get to bowl it this year. Hopefully you come out and see us on a Thursday every once in a while.
Yeah, I might show up every once in a while.
That's AKA no, I won't because I don't want to be in a bowling center more than I have to. You've got full of shit written all over your face.
Yeah, I might show up a week or 2.
I'm sorry you can't get it up, okay?
Yeah, I'll soak up a little sympathy and maybe somebody will buy me a drink or something.
I'll buy you one if you come out.
I'll make it. No, because what had happened is I get wrangled into running brackets or being the clipboard bitch for the high game pot or something like that. So
yeah, absolutely. Got to put your ass to work. No, we appreciate everybody stuck here and watched us. I know most of this is our local bowlers. We had some other stuff outside of this early, or some other people outside early that were watching that wasn't local. We appreciate this. This is one of more. I don't know about him, but one of the more of or more fun shows that I have. Good Lord, I cannot get words out today. And I told him earlier today that I was looking forward to it because this is a really, really fun show to do. We're never going to predict this right. I think last year, or not last year, but the year before, there's one year we got really damn close.
Yeah, one year in the first round we got really close. I think we'll be close
Yeah.
in the first round this year. I think it'll be this will go a little more predictably than last year did.
Yeah, and if you want to do a follow up, I'm more than happy to do it.
Yeah, I
just
think
let
it'd
me
be fun.
Yeah, I'm good with it. We could even do it maybe even on a Monday night or something.
Yeah,
Just
get
do
in
it.
trouble and do like team rankings. So yeah,
Oh, you guys want us to go crazy?
Yeah,
Comment on this later. We can go crazy if you want.
as I did that one year, and Yuri caught me. He's like, "Oh, so my team's not going to be a top 4 team, huh?"
Like I said, if you guys don't want to
Yeah,
draft me, that's fine. I'll bowl one day a week and get plenty of handicap next year bowling games.
I didn't think the locals actually watched this, but damn it, let's run it back.
No, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, though. We're a little past our time.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jesse Bauer, for helping us get this list ahead of time. And yeah, man, you guys do a great job putting this together. It is so future reference. If you're wanting to start this at your future league, it is really hard to get it going off the ground early because it is a draft, especially since you don't have the built-up captains and people that bowled previously. There is ways to do it, but if you hit it and you hit it right, this is the perfect format, and it is so much fun to do. So much fun. It's unfortunate though that we have to kick people out that don't make it on the list, but at the same time, it's a good thing because it shows the integrity of the league and shows how strong it is.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody that signed up. Thank you everybody that watched the show tonight, and yeah, that's all I got. So been a good show. Thank you.
Yeah, Wedgie put in there, do a recap into the first half, and then into the league. We could run it like and I had thought that would be interesting to do like a fantasy thing. Like as soon as the teams get drafted, then you find some way to do like a league fantasy type thing.
Yeah, no, I'm down with that. We could put something together for that next year. It's going to be hard to do it this year. To do a fantasy thing with points. That would be so much fun, dude. So much fun.
You get James to make a spreadsheet.
All right, get James on it. I know he's probably not watching now, but
yeah,
needs to reach out to James.
I'd like to see how close we get. And then I would like to do like if I was drafting, I think I kind of already said it, but yeah. And then we can talk shit on teams that
absolutely
screwed up.
But we can 100% do an end of the first half and into the league shows. We
Yeah,
can do that 100%.
It'd be fun to do.
Yeah, that would actually be fun because we can break down how we think. Okay, this team I could see them underperforming this half and then coming back. Yeah, dude, I'm down for that. Let's do it. I'm in.
Yeah. So
I'm in.
All right. Yeah. Thanks everybody for showing up and hanging out. And
yeah, for sure.
We didn't quite cover.
If we missed your name and didn't break you down, I'm sorry.
Yeah, do a viewer competition in the future for first round picks. Yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
But yeah,
we will. Thank you for reviewing. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, we spent a lot of time talking about stuff and still missed a bunch of stuff. So
that is the breakdown pair. Welcome to the show.
Yeah. Maybe we can follow up and pick it back up on the recap show. But
thanks for watching episode number 111.
Yep. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll put something back together, and we'll see how it all shakes out. The draft is tomorrow night. So,
yep. And if you guys would like, I can post the draft standings in the breakdown pair page.
Yeah,
so
we can.
I can post them in there. Luke or whoever catches it first, one of the two of us will share it into our breakdown pair page so you can see how it all broke down. So, thanks, guys.